frequencies. I will be at the South Street Seaport every day at midday, when the sun is highest in the sky. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food, I can provide shelter, I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.
Hey, what's up everybody? Radix here, the one from 72, the ultra neutral, and today I am here with a special friend who went on a trip with me. And I know I told you guys that I wasn't going to do any more Truth Quest trips, and I haven't actually all year long. You know, this year I've been spending more time, you know, trying to evolve, trying to understand more about myself, whereas last year you guys all saw like I went all over the country trying to put the pieces together of what's going on, why these things happen to me, and everything that happened with the alien. And in the year before that, if you've been around that long, you'll know back in 2020, I thought, man, we must be in a simulation, because how was I able to predict all the things by looking at 1972? But then the one thing that always kept going, I kept going back to, that kept screwing me up, was the whole thing was, you know, look, there was an alien that came in my school to unlock my mind to make this stuff all possible. And why in the hell would you need an alien in a simulation that breaks immersion? For those of you who are gamers, you understand what immersion is and how important that is. So, anyhow, I went on a trip. I had a friend of mine that I had met recently, actually. We're going to call her the Scorpion Dame, because she is actually German, predominantly German, and she's also a Scorpio. So I'm just going to call her Scorpion Dame. That's going to be her nickname. And I had just met her recently, and I was telling her about this stuff, and she's just like, this is crazy, this is really happening. And I was like, yeah, I was like, it's a real thing. And I said, you know, look, I'm planning on going this week down to where the first Mothman sighting was, because it's been bothering me about the fact that in 1966, the very first sighting of Mothman was the same day that I was born, November 12th. And the whole thing with the birth, the death and rebirth of Scorpios, you know, if you know anything about the Scorpio, which is, I think, is another reason why the Scorpion Dame decided she really wanted to go, because she thought, yeah, this is kind of weird, because she's also a Scorpio. But the birth, the death and rebirth of Scorpio, it does line up with a lot of the stuff, you know, with this grave, you know, the first Mothman sighting. So, you know, I thought maybe my name is on a tombstone there, or maybe I need to find out the person who actually died on November 12th, who was being buried, whoever was being buried that day when the Mothman was first sighted. And if you guys watched the original video when I went out there last year, I could not find that damn graveyard for nothing. And so I figured, you know, I'm going to take another crack at it. And so I approached the Scorpion Dame, and I told her, I said, you know, I plan on going out there. And she said, yeah. She's like, I'll go. And I was like, that's great, because I actually need a witness to actually, you know, see these things. And not only was she a witness to what happened and conspired with going out to the graveyard, but she was a witness to a lot of other things too. And if you're new to my channel and you don't know about this stuff and these things that are going on and the people are witnesses, you can go back and find quite a few videos that I have I have people that go on trips with me, or people that meet me at certain places or whatever, and they witness things too. So it always has to be somebody there. And so, yeah, so we're gonna meet her, and then we're gonna talk about what actually happened over the weekend. So how you doing, Scorpio Dame?
I'm doing all right.
When I first asked you to go out with me to where the first Mothman sighting was, at the graveyard, what was your feelings? How did you feel about that? Was it kind of like, this is weird, or what was you thinking?
I would definitely have to say that there was a lot of hesitation in the whole going out to Point Pleasant to try to see about the Mothman sightings, and at the same time I was skeptical. But as we got closer, I started having different feelings towards it.
So, you know, when I picked you up, and then we started driving out there, and I was telling you about, you know, all this stuff and things, you know, obviously you said you were skeptical. You're like, okay, this is kind of, you know, maybe it's a bunch of BS, but you're like, I'll go and see and maybe have a good time. We'll go out to the Mothman Museum, stuff like that. But then when we were driving, and we didn't see any cops. So here's something else you guys don't know. It's a 4-hour trip from where I pretty much live at. It's 4 hours to get from where I live out to the Mothman Museum. It's 4 hours from where I live at to get out to the Serpent Mound. I need to figure out what that other 4 is. There's got to be some other 4 there. But so it's not a short drive. It's a long drive. It's a 4-hour drive to get from where we were out to Point Pleasant. And I think what was like 2 hours in?
Yes, it was. It was at least 2 hours in, and all of a sudden he says, I haven't seen any cops or anything like that. And within less than 10 minutes of you saying that, we saw a cop, sheriff's car.
Wait, back up. I specifically said that I'm like, it's weird. I'm like, the whole trip that we've taken out here, I'm like, there's not one cop, not one sheriff, and not even a state trooper. And I said it in that order. I said no cops, no sheriffs, and not even a state trooper. And I'm like, that's weird, right? Do you remember that? Is that exactly how it went down?
Yes, that's exactly how it went down. It's exactly how you said it. And within 10 minutes, we saw a cop car. We saw a sheriff's car right behind it. They passed us, and then within another 5-10 minutes, there was a state trooper car.
And what did you think about that?
I was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe it that you were saying that stuff, and then within a few minutes, there they were. It just was odd, but cool all at the same time.
So there was no, that's what I'm saying, guys. There was no police for over 2 hours on this trip, driving across the state. We didn't see anything. And it just popped in my mind, like, wow, there's no police, there's nothing. I'm like, there's nothing. And I specifically said, there's not a cop, not a sheriff, or a state trooper. And so what happened is we're driving, like not long after I said that, like 10 minutes after I said that, all of a sudden a cop car, I'm like, I look in the mirror and I said, oh, here comes a cop. Like 10 minutes later, a cop car comes up and it goes past. And right behind it is a sheriff. A cop and a sheriff in lockstep with each other. Now, here's the thing. Some people could be skeptical and say, well, maybe he saw them in the rearview mirror a long time ago or something, which that's not true. However, how would I predict the cop, the sheriff, and then the state trooper? Because 5 minutes after that, coming around the corner, going the opposite way, is a state trooper who just pulled somebody over. So we had a cop, a sheriff, and a state trooper. Bam, bam, bam. All in sync with each other.
Yes, indeed.
After that happened, then I was like, I'm like, see, I told you. I'm like, you stick around long enough, you'll see strange things. So then about a half hour or so, maybe almost 45 minutes later, again, there were no police at all. Nothing. No police, no sheriff, and no state troopers. And I'm like, there's nothing. I'm like, and so I said again, I said, you know, look, I said, here now, and now this is 45 minutes later. We weren't kept talking about it or anything like that. We were talking about other stuff. And then 45 minutes later, I said, where are all the cops? There are no cops. It's like earlier I said about the cops and stuff, and there's no cops. And then as soon as I said that, bam, what happened?
There was another one.
Right around the corner. We're just turning the corner, and then boom, there's another cop. And then after that, guess what, guys? No more cops. Did you see any more cops on that trip?
No, I did not. No.
So the only time that I actually said that there was going to be I said a cop, a sheriff, and a state trooper, and they all pop up and lock sync with each other. And then 45 minutes later, I said, where are all the cops? I'm like, again, here we go. And now there's no cops. And then, like, literally right around the corner, there's a cop.
Because there was no sign of anything for that amount of time until you said something. And then all of a sudden it just, like, it appeared.
Yeah, so then after that happened, we went out to the museum. We didn't have much time to get to the museum because we were getting there kind of late. So we go inside. There's a picture in the museum that has the exact, I don't know who drew this picture or whatever, but it's there in the museum. I think I missed it the first time I was there. But it has the exact same footprints on this Mothman prediction. And it has the exact same type of wings with the those big dragon-like, bat-like wings. So you can see that in the picture. So that's probably as close as accurate as you're going to get to with the being that came to me and unlocked my mind. As well as if you haven't watched the video already, where the one I just posted before this one, where I talk about, you know, the footprints on the ground were described by somebody else from another documentary to be exactly identical to the way my ex-wife described it and other people described. So yeah, so I wanted to share that picture with you guys and show you that too. Also, so afterwards, after we leave the museum, and like nobody came up and talked to us or anything like that, right?
No, nobody came to talk to us. Nobody even approached us.
The entire time on the whole trip for the 2 days.
No, nothing.
And so, and the reason why I'm bringing that up, because she's a witness to this, is because if you've watched all my other Truth Quest videos, you know that nobody ever comes up to me, and I say that, and the people who do come up to me is for a specific reason, right? Like it's like they were placed there to give me the information to pass on to you guys about something like the whole thing on the Mothman in Chicago, and the guy came through and said, hey, yeah, I've seen Mothman. They're like, what are the odds? Or like the last time I was out at Point Pleasant, and then the guy comes up to me and he's a descendant of Commander Clark Lewis. You know, what are the odds? So then after that, I said, you know, let's go out to find this graveyard. And do you want to explain how that was when we went out to go to the graveyard?
It was really insane. So the roads that Google Maps told us to go on, it was super windy roads, very narrow, to a point where only one vehicle can go past each other, not even past each other. And we get to a spot and it just was too narrow for a bigger vehicle to go up and around. So we had to go back and try a different route. So we went the other route, and that was even worse, to a point where we got stopped by a concrete block to the path that could have taken us to the graveyard for the sightings. And it was so hard to even try to think about turning around that I had to help him back all the way out of this road, off this road. And it was like as if we were getting blocked and could not go any further up to the graveyard.
We tried every single thing we could, like going these crazy back roads where it's like a single lane and everybody stops what they're doing and they all stare at you it's not a very welcoming area. They don't want, you know, strangers there. And every one of these roads, you literally cannot turn around. And I have a big vehicle, so I had to now go in reverse to back out, like to get out. It was crazy, but I tried, and you tried, everything we could to try to get to that graveyard. Would you say that?
Oh yeah, we tried every possible little route, every possible little road that could be a path up to the graveyard, but all of a sudden it was like, no, it just kept on coming up short to where we would not even get up to the graveyard from the spots that we tried multiple times.
And Google Maps, and she's a witness to this too, the Google map kept telling me, go this way, go this way, go this way. And it kept, and when you say that the Google map was like screwing with us,
I would definitely say that it was. It was really odd that it kept on saying, well, go this way, and we try to go that way, and it was another tiny ass road to where we couldn't even get up to it.
And then the map would like tell us that we're going the wrong way and say turn around and go the other way.
Yes, it kept on doing that to us as well.
Now here's another testimony that a couple of people have also spoke about before. It's happened with me. When I was talking about something, did my phone start talking?
Yes, it did. And I had to shut my mouth because I just could not believe it. Because you and I were talking about something, and all of a sudden your phone just started talking to you out of nowhere.
Yeah, it like interjected itself in the conversation and said, if I can help you with that or help you with something, I can help you out or something. Like, right?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and it was like, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen to other people. Like, maybe it happens to you or something that you're listening to, but I don't know anybody else that it's happening to. And when it happens to me, it like literally, like the AI in the phone will cut in and like put in its 2 cents into what I'm talking about. It's just totally bizarre. You forgot all about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
It was another one of those real bizarre things over the weekend.
Yes, it was. Highly bizarre.
So then after we got blocked from going to the Serpent Mound, or going out to the graveyard, trying to find anything in this graveyard, I decided, okay, we're just going to have to call it quits and we'll just have to go to the Serpent Mound, which was on our plans to go to Serpent Mound anyhow. So then I'm like, all right, so where we were at was completely away from, we were an hour away from Point Pleasant. We were an hour away, guys. And when I put in the map, the Google Maps, to go to the Serpent Mound, it's like a V shape. So either I'd have to go right, and that would take me all the way back to Point Pleasant, or I go left, and that takes me towards the Serpent Mound. So the Google Map tells me how to get to the Serpent Mound, which would be to go left. So it looks like a correct route and everything. So I get on that route and I start driving. And where do we end up?
Point Pleasant. Nowhere near Serpent Mound or anything like that.
And I specifically put in Serpent Mound. Now here's the thing. It took us back to Point Pleasant, but then it was telling us to go from Point Pleasant to the Serpent Mound. And I didn't put Point Pleasant in there. I just put the Serpent Mound in there. But however, it took us right back to Point Pleasant, and we were both like freaked out.
Yes, we were. We just looked at each other and we're like, what the hell is going on here? Why are we... I specifically said, why is it taking us back this way?
So then we weren't supposed to, that wasn't the plan to go back to Point Pleasant. The plan was to go out to the Serpent Mound. But I'm like, well, I guess since we're here, it wants us to be here. And I didn't show you the ammo dump where November 15th, where Point Pleasant, where they saw the Mothman. I didn't get a chance to take you there. So I said, well, I guess we might as well just go ahead and go out there. So that's what we did. We went out to the ammo dump of where the November 15th sighting happened with the Mothman. And what did you think about that when we went out there?
I would have to say that it was creepy at first, but then we got to walking around and it almost felt peaceful. And at the same time as we were walking around, it literally felt like there was something there.
So then here's what happened. We got there to the ammo dump and we start walking back in the woods because I was looking for the most popular dome that everybody goes to, and I couldn't find it. But what I did find was a bunch of vultures, and I never seen vultures there ever. Never once had I ever seen. Now, I'm not saying the vultures aren't there often, but the last time that I was there, I didn't see any vultures at all. It just so happens that this time there was vultures there, which also led me into talking to her about Oumuamua when it came here from the Lyra constellation in 2017, which is the same time the Mothman came to me, which is the connections there. And the reason why is because the Lyra constellation is a harp that has a vulture on it. And that's what I was telling her. I was telling her about that story. I was like, yeah. And I was like, so the whole thing with the vultures. And so here we are now where the Mothman sighting is. And now I'm seeing vultures. And there was like 3 big vultures. And they were like, it was weird because they were definitely, like, these 3 vultures were completely aware of us. And they were flying up in front of us from tree to tree. And they were kind of like leading us in a way. And I was like, well, I guess we need to follow them. Which just took us back to the path to getting out of where we were at. But however, I may have missed something. But the thing is that it was just bizarre that there was these 3 massive vultures that were there. And kind of letting us, like, there was like something I feel like I must have missed something at that point. So we started walking out, and then we got back to the front of the road. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to take you to the other ammo dumps were the ones that I know. So then we go up the road a little bit, and we go to that one. And as we're walking to go through there, to go down the road there, I noticed that there is sadly a dead cat. Some assholes, sacrificed a cat at this spot. Now, me personally, being connected to the Mothman, being part of this species, I don't see how in any kind of way that would be something that a Draconian would be like, oh, I'm so glad that you sacrificed this poor cat. If anything, you're going to suffer the beast for harming animals, right? Like, I don't think that, there's a lot of humans that do these like sacrifices and things because they don't know what the hell they're dealing with. And they think that they're going to summon some demon, and that this demon is going to give them, it's going to be at their bidding and becking, whatever their will is. And it's garbage. It doesn't make any sense. And if it was true, then, and those things are true, we would already have known that, because there would be people who would, be showing that these things are actually powerful and are actually working. So when I saw the dead cat, it really enraged me. It pissed me off that I saw it. It made me very, very angry. So then, but I'm like, okay, let's continue to go. So we walk back through the path, and we get back to the domes, and then we get back there, and she's following me, and I show her the sounds of how the sound echoes in there. But as I'm going into the dome to go do my ohms and stuff, tell me what you felt when you saw me going into the dome, and when you were standing outside. You said that you had a certain feeling. Tell me about that feeling.
So while I was watching you go inside the dome to do your ohms, actually it happened before you did your ohms. It was the first time we went into the ammo dome, and you were stomping around making all kinds of noises, and I kind of stopped making noises because I felt like something was watching us. I felt like there was something there. So I stopped stomping around, and I turned and I looked at a spot to where I felt that where the presence was, and I blocked out your noises. I blocked out everything, and then all of a sudden it just got super quiet in the woods, like it was watching us. And then one more time when you went into the dump to do your ohms, I felt another presence. Actually, it might have been the same presence, but it was a lot closer, and the back of my hair on my neck was standing up, and so was the hairs on my arms.
So you felt like something was there watching you?
Yes, I definitely felt like something there.
So and when she told me about this, I said, well, maybe something was there and they didn't want you there. But for me, I don't feel any fear or anything. I feel like, I belong. I'm okay. I'm protected. And that's not what she got. Now, here's the thing, guys. I've watched a lot of videos of people that go out there, and a lot of people say that too. They say that they get this type of feeling that something's there, something, is watching them and stuff like that. And why is it different for me, my experience, than other people? I don't know. Maybe because I'm connected to the Mothman. I don't think that the Draconian, the Dragonkin, the Mothman, Gargoyle, whatever you want to call them, are actually still just kind of hanging around there. But it very well could be possible. So I can't pretty much say that that's really what's going on. But anyhow, so let's get past that. So we left there and we went out to the Serpent Mound to go meet with the Cambodian dragon healer and his family, because they had said that they were going to be out there Sunday, and they'll meet us out there and we'll have a good time and have lunch and stuff like that. What did you think when you went out to the Serpent Mound? What did you experience when you were out there with me?
I would have to say that it was very, very peaceful out there. Meeting your close friend and his family, it was an awesome experience. And the moment that I was around all of you guys, the healer, dragon, family, and you, I felt at peace. So it felt very, very peaceful at the Serpent Mound.
So we get out there to the Serpent Mound and we meet with the Cambodian dragon healer and his family and stuff, and we walk down to the head of the serpent, to the point. And most of you guys who've watched the Serpent Mound videos before, you know what I'm talking about. And as we're down there, there are these two ladies that are down there that actually, I think they start talking to the Cambodian dragon healer first, correct?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so like that's what I say, guys. Nobody ever talks to me. And like this whole trip, nobody came up to me, right?
No one came up to us. No one approached us or even spoke to us.
Not at the Mothman Museum, not at the Mothman where the ammo dump is, nor the Serpent Mound. So now I have a witness that, yeah, people don't typically come up and talk to me, and when they do, I always record it and share those experiences with you guys. It's not like I just put plants in there or something that set people up to talk about the things that I talk about. In fact, the first time I talked to the Cambodian dragon healer, when I met him at the Serpent Mound, he actually approached me. So then, yeah, we're down there, and then these two ladies come up to talk to him, and they ask him about what does he do when he's there and stuff, because of stuff, he says that he's a healer and he does healing. So then he actually did some healing for these ladies. What do you think about that?
I would say that it was an experience to watch something like that take place, and for these two particular women to sit there and take it all in. And it was very, very honest of them on how they took it, and to a point to where looked like they were both at peace and that they both felt better afterwards.
And you've never seen anything like that before?
No, I've never nor witnessed anything like that before.
So then after that, the Cambodian dragon healer did some healing for these two ladies and stuff, we go, and I think it was either before or after, we go over to the one part of the railing, and his daughter notices that there is a black snake at the Serpent Mound. Remember that?
That was before the two ladies came down to where the dragon healer was. And we looked over the railing, and sure enough, there was this beautiful black snake, like as if it came out of nowhere. But like you said, you've never seen anything like that of all the times that you've gone to the Serpent Mound until that particular day.
Yeah, so that was pretty amazing. His daughter was like, there's a snake, and we all go over to the railing and we look, and I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe that there is a snake at the Serpent Mound. Now, that might not be rare for a lot of people, but for me it was rare, because I've been there 7 times and I've never ever seen a snake there, ever, not once. So it was like the first time I ever seen one there. So I thought that was pretty wild. And then now looking back, because we didn't see any other animals there at the Serpent Mound, did we?
No, we didn't. No other animals.
And did we see any other animals out at the ammo dump with the Mothman sightings?
No, we did not.
So at the Mothman sightings, that area, we saw the 3 vultures, and that was the only animals that we saw other than the cat that was sacrificed, which is sad. But we saw the 3 vultures there, and at the Serpent Mound we see a big black snake.
Very true.
What are the odds? What are the odds of that?
Definitely, it was a sight to see that it happened like that.
Yeah, so then after that, after we saw the snake and we went and had lunch with the Cambodian dragon healer, and again, you guys know I always rave about his wife's cooking. She makes some really good food. And then afterwards, we walked down to go look at the Serpent's Eye underneath the Serpent Mount. And then pretty much we parted ways, and we left from there. So what would you think would be the overall experience of everything that you saw?
I would have to say it was a big influence on everything that you have said, that it makes me a believer on the stuff that you have been through, the stuff that you have witnessed, all your thoughts about everything that was going on during the whole trip, and how you said certain things and then all of a sudden it happened. But you also didn't explain the one thing about the military copter.
Oh, I did. I forgot all about that. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick explanation real fast, and then she's gonna tell you what she witnessed also too. And I think this is the one thing that pretty much blew you away. So I told her before we got to the Serpent Mound, I was telling her about the first time that I was there, and I said, look, I think I got to be there at like 2:17, and if you guys haven't watched that video, go watch the video when I first went to Serpent Mound, that Truth Quest video, and you can see how it all played out through the day. And I said, hey, maybe I need to be there at 2:17 at a certain time, and I need to find the Alcor star. So then I get there, and I'm telling you guys the same thing I was telling her. I told her that when I got to the Serpent Mound and I met these two people that were there, and the one guy said he actually was the descendant of the Shawnee tribe, and his wife came over and she had dragon green eyes, and I was talking about the 1972 stuff. She said, I was born in 1972, and she's like, oh my gosh, and all this stuff. But I said, look, I said the Alcor star is over, it's not on Serpent Mound, but it's over in this direction through these trees. And I said, so we're supposed to look this way, maybe something's going to happen at 2:17. So I'm standing there filming, and the lady with the dragon green eyes, she's standing there filming as well, waiting for 2:17 for something to happen. And by the way, at that moment, that was also the Cambodian dragon healer was there for the first time. When I first met him was also that time, and he had just got done doing the healing bowl. And if you guys haven't heard that, you can hear that in his video. But he just got done doing that, and then 2:17 rang out, and as soon as that did, there was a sonic boom that just come crackling out of the sky from that exact direction of where I told her to look. And she looked at me, and her jaw dropped and her eyes got big, because we both thought, oh my gosh, this is a UFO, there's something happening here. And it was just a military jet. However, and I was just like, oh, it's a military jet. Not only was it a military jet, but the jet actually circled around right where we were at the Serpent Mound. And that lady said, who are you? And I'm just a guy who had an alien experience, and I'm telling you that these things are happening. Because what are the odds that exactly, even if somebody say, well, the military jets go out there all the time, it's the fact that it happened specifically at the time I said we need to look there. So I was telling her about that. And then now when we're out there just this past weekend, we hear this helicopter way, way off in the distance coming, and you can't see it yet, but you hear it coming. And I said, that sounds like military. That's got to be military. And then all of a sudden, what happened?
All of a sudden, here's this military chopper, and it came straight towards us. It got lower, and it circled us. As it was circling us, military that was on board literally peered out of the doorways and looked down upon us, like they were watching us, like they knew that you were there, that's why they were there, was to come and look at you.
Yeah, so this, if you haven't seen the Serpent Mound, guys, it's a big area. It's not a small area. And that helicopter made a beeline right to where I was specifically standing at. And it was me, it was the Scorpion Dame, and it was a Cambodian dragon healer and his family. And we're all standing there. There's nobody else around. It's just us. And that helicopter goes all the way up the Serpent Mound. It drops really, really low, so low that you can see the people inside the helicopter. That's how low it is. You can see the markings on it, everything. It drops low. It drops to the point where I'm thinking, is this thing going to land here? It drops really low, and it just makes, and they make a complete circle right above our heads, like right at us. And they leaned out of the helicopter, and they looked right down right at us. So we can see their faces, they can see our faces. And the Cambodian dragon here was like, they're coming for you, man. He's like, they're coming for it, didn't he?
Yeah, and I even looked at you and I asked you why all of a sudden this happened, and it was very, very overwhelming. And just like the previous woman, her jaw dropped, and I did the exact same thing, and I just looked at you. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Why is this happening? And all of a sudden, like, they circled us and then they left.
Yeah, they went like, they circled us, and then they didn't go that far away. And they went like, they couldn't have been that far, guys. They went not far from us. I don't mean that like the helicopter got tiny. They went not far from us, and they landed close by. And I don't know, like, I don't think there's any airport right there. Like, if you look on the map, I don't think there's any airport right next to the Serpent Mound. So they landed in a field, is what I'm guessing. I imagine that they must have landed in a field, like right near where we were at. Okay, quick update here on this video. As I'm trying to find pictures to show you guys the map, so you can see that here's the map of the Serpent Mound, the actual terrain Google map overhead view. You can see that there's no helicopter places in sight. There's no airport in sight. There's nothing near for a very long time to get out towards the Serpent Mound. And that helicopter literally landed like just over the trees somewhere, and I could not figure out where the hell they landed. But I'm going to show you here. If you look, you can see where the Serpent Mound is here, and then you can see right over there, there's a field. You go just over the water there, and there's a field that they could have landed. So why in the hell did a military helicopter land in that field just over the trees there on the other side of that bank? Why did they land there specifically at that time when I was there? Those are the type of things that you got to ask yourself, like, what are the odds of that at that specific point in time? And this time, not only was my friend there who was able to witness it, the Scorpion Dame, but also the Cambodian dragon hero and his entire family, they all also witnessed the same exact thing. And that helicopter didn't just circle around the Serpent Mound, it literally dropped really, really low. So low that we were able to see the people inside of the helicopter looking out, hanging out, looking at us, looking directly down at where we were at the one end, which is the tail end of the Serpent Mound, which is the way going in towards, when you go back towards the gift shop. So, and that's where they stopped. They circled right around that point, and then they went right over to those trees, and then they landed. So why exactly did that happen? Those are the type of things you got to ask yourself. With all the other coincidences, all the other things that go on, it just adds more and more mystery and more, I hate to use the word credibility, because I just don't feel like I have to give any more credibility, but just adds more credibility to the stories and the things that I'm talking about. It's not just me witnessing it, that when it's happening, it's many other people who are witnessing it. And if you've been paying attention to my videos for the past couple years, you will have noticed that I've been posting many different multiple witnesses to things and events that happen and occur around me. Now we'll get back to the video. And the last time that I was at the Serpent Mound, if you guys didn't see it, when I was there, when it was the winter solstice, and the archaeologists wouldn't speak on camera for me, and they were very rude to me, and they were told, I felt like they were told not to talk to me, and all of a sudden there was all these like SWAT guys and police officer guys who were like following me around up there and stuff. And I don't really talk. I pretty much kept a lot of that stuff from you guys, because I was trying I don't want people to get the idea that like I'm some danger to society, because I'm not, unless I'm provoked. But I'm not a danger to society, and I'm just trying to share, the experiences and all those things, and try to help unlock the humans' minds to help them understand what's going on. It's the government that are playing things that they're playing. Okay, and I don't have anything against the people in the government, because there's good people in the government too, and there's a lot of bad people. But anyhow, I don't want to go down a tangent of that. You guys, this is not what you came here for, to listen on this video. So, the overall experience for the entire weekend, I'm going to say that from what I gather from you, it was that at first you were very skeptical. You were like, maybe he's full of crap, but whatever, you're still going to have a good time. You're going to get to see this, the Mothman museum and stuff like that. And then afterwards, you were like, okay, this is a real phenomenon. There's really something going on, and it's unexplainable.
I would safely say that after experiencing everything that had happened over the weekend, I'm no longer a skeptic. I believe that everything is happening for a reason. And the whole experience was, yes, overwhelming all at the same time. And it made me doubt everything that I have been taught as a kid and growing up. And then to experience what you got to go through and what you still are going through, I'm no longer a skeptic. I am definitely a 100% believer.
And you wouldn't say that, it's not that I'm like, hey, I'm trying to make you, convert you into something or trying to make you believe in anything. I'm just like, you'll see the evidence. You'll see for yourself, that, the things that I share with people and things that I post, it's because I post evidence. It's not me making up hooey things. It's like, here's evidence. These are things that happen, and here's witnesses. And that's pretty much what happened with you.
Absolutely. I not once have I ever thought that you're trying to, hey, I'm special or anything like that. But this is what's occurring in my life. This is what I am going through. And you just want someone to be a witness to things that have been happening to you, so that way you can make people know that you're not a liar, you're not a bad person, you are definitely a good person by all means. And all you want to do is to show that this is happening and not making it up.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, you saying that I'm a good person. I really appreciate that. And it was really nice to have you on the trip with me. And I think for sure that you were supposed to be there. I think that I was not supposed to do this trip alone, that there had to been a specific certain person that had to be there. And I think you were that person, and you are now a part of this experience.
I would definitely and honestly say that it was meant to be for me to go with you. And like I told you, everything happens for a reason.
All right, Scorpion Dame, it was really nice to have you on the trip and everything. And for the rest of you guys out there, enjoy the rest of the time that you have left. Welcome. You can call me Radix, the ultra neutral, the one from 72. Doing more and more research and more digging, it now is more apparent to me that we are in a natural reality dealing with an alien species that has hacked time. And because of that, they have left a huge piece of evidence, which is the year 1972, and how that year actually connects to the year 2020, and how I am the only person in the world that is educating people and bringing the message and was able to predict the election in 2020 through great detail, as well as other predictions that also came true that have to do with looking at the year 1972 and the time hack and how it affected the year 2020 and will lead us into civil war, as well as a galactic war that is clearly upon all of us that is coming down. And you'll see that evidence by coming here and looking at the evidence that I present. I'm also going to be teaching you things about how flying saucers work, things about different alien species like the reptilians, the Anunnaki, and about the Greys, because I myself had a reptilian experience where my mind was unlocked, and that is one of the great reasons why I'm able to present all of this knowledge, because up until the year 2017, when my mind was unlocked, not long after that, I was starting to able to see the holes in the reality, see all the connections of the things that were going on that led to a time hack, which tells us learn from them and push forward as humanity, and not to suppress one another and suppress our own species. So if you're ready to have your mind unlocked, if you're ready to receive the message that nobody else in the world is talking about, if you're ready to see the truth, if you're ready to understand and look at the evidence, then welcome to Rat X Files.